Welcome to the December 2019 College of Nursing Commencement Ceremony. I'm Julie Zerwick, the Dean of the College of Nursing. I want to extend an especially warm welcome to the family of our graduates. I know the room is filled with sisters, brothers, grandparents, parents, aunts, uncles, and many friends. So we are very pleased to have you with us to bear witness to this milestone accomplishment of our graduates. We are privileged and grateful to have been a part of your graduates' life for the past few years. The entire university community celebrates your pride today. Assisting us with this commencement ceremony today are graduate Marshal Dylan Hartford, who led the processional, our sign language interpreter, Kelly Neppel, and joining me in this celebration on stage are administrators from the University and the College of Nursing. Clinical Professor and Associate Dean for Undergraduate Programs, Anita Nicholson. Clinical Professor and Executive Associate Dean, Anita Steinman. And representing the university's central administration, who will confer the degrees, President for the University of Iowa, Bruce Harreld. It is also my pleasure to introduce our honored guest, our keynote speaker, College of Nursing Outstanding Young Alumna Award recipient, Sally Walton. So faculty from the College of Nursing are also in attendance. Jacinda Bunch, Katie Cherwin, Amalia Gedney-Lowe's, Lindell Joseph, Brenda Crow-Duree, Patricia Nelson, Ann Rhodes, Deb Strobel, Saida Thomas. Additional faculty who are assisting us behind the scenes, Frances Coonley, Janice Miller. And very importantly, people that we rely on day to day, and certainly in terms of putting this event together, our College of Nursing Student Services staff, Linda Myers, Cherry Doggett, Renee Lapine, and Maureen Owens. So at my prior convocations, I based my remarks on books. There were a few children's books. Some of you may have read Oh, the Places You'll Go, or The Giving Tree, because I believe that many life's lessons can be learned if we reflect back on our childhood. Last spring, I talked about Walt Whitman's Book of Poetry, since it was the 200th anniversary of his birth, and he worked as a nurse during the Civil War and was greatly impacted by his experiences. Today, however, I'm going to remind you of a very important individual in the history of nursing, and that's Florence Nightingale. And although Frankie talked about Florence, I'll be a little bit more reverent today. So it's the 160th anniversary of the book, Notes on Nursing. Florence Nightingale is credited with establishing professional nursing. She is known for her work in the Crimean War, where 10 times more soldiers died of infectious diseases than war wounds. So after improving living conditions through sanitation, ventilation, and cleanliness, they saw a significant drop in morbidity and mortality. Nightingale was gifted in mathematics, and I think that's one thing that's not well known. She really was an early statistician and an epidemiologist. She used data to demonstrate the impact of the living conditions on the individuals that she was serving. So I ask you today to emulate the example of Florence Nightingale, the compassion for others who are suffering, the curiosity to track down answers to the uncertainties that others take for granted, and the courage to stand up for what you believe is the right course of action. Because what sets you apart from everyone else is that you are and will always be an Iowa nurse. So it's now my special pleasure to introduce Amy Schaffner, who will be speaking on behalf of the December 2019 BSN class. So Amy discovered nursing as her passion after earning a Bachelor of Science in Biology degree from the University of Denver in Denver, Colorado. Amy has completed a variety of experiences throughout her education that have contributed to improving the lives of others, whether it be serving as a gymnastics coach in Colorado and Iowa City, raising funds for a nonprofit organization that supports talented youth, or completing the Summer 10 nursing internship at UIHC. She finds time to give to others. Amy shares that her most significant accomplishment is serving as the proud mother of 3 incredible teenagers. Upon graduation, Amy will work at the Stead Family Children's Hospital, Level 4 Surgical Suite, pre, post, and PACU, beginning the nurse residency program in February with future plans to complete her doctorate of nursing practice. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our BSN class speaker, Amy Schaffner.
Thank you, Dean Zerwick, for that kind introduction. Good morning, everyone, and thank you all for being here to celebrate with us today. As I was thinking about what to say today on this transitional day where we celebrate the past, but we leap into the future, I thought, I want to be inspirational and motivational. You know, at the least, I just don't want to put y'all to sleep. So I just want to talk about how amazing all of these people are and how grateful I am for being a part of this cohort. I wasn't sure if I should focus on our past accomplishments, how much we've achieved and how far we've come, or if I should talk about the future that lies before us, so full of opportunity. And I realized that there are qualities about my cohort that make both our past and our future remarkable. During clinicals, we learned and grew so much in our skills and knowledge, but remember, to even set foot in the hospital, we had to get 100% on our ATI dosage and calc exam. And we had to successfully navigate Castle Branch requirements, so clearly y'all are smart cookies. We overcame the obstacles of pathology and ABG values. We conquered farm study guides. Thank you, Saida. Some of us forfeited sleep in the pursuit of the perfect prep packet, which BTW, we rocked. And these are terrific achievements. But honestly, there's a cohort every semester that can stand up here and say like essentially the same thing. So although these achievements are great, they don't really speak about what makes us unique. Sure, we excelled at pursuing nursing knowledge, but there's something more. During our first semesters, we trekked across campus, finding our classrooms from the east side to the west. I know you all loved our stint in the art building. We were crammed into this classroom, sitting shoulder to shoulder. We became really close as a cohort. I think some people in the back didn't even have desks. And I'll admit, during our time in the College of Public Health, I kind of loved the comfy chairs. We endured construction mess and jackhammer drilling during our lectures. We had obstacles, but we made it through. So maybe it's our perseverance that sets us apart. You know, many people in our cohort give up their time to do good for others. Book drives, winter coat drives for families in need, volunteer work at the hospital, dance marathon, UINs, Swaziland, Pallium India, and more. We've dedicated ourselves to many worthy causes because we're a group that wants to make the world around us a better place. And that's wonderful. But again, there's a lot of people in the world who volunteer. Our altruistic hearts are fabulous, but it's not exactly what makes us different. Now, we have had a lot of fun together. Theme Outfit Wednesdays, singing karaoke, trivia night, and legendary other social events. Like the true nurses we are, lighthearted fun was always balanced with an adequate supply of hydrating electrolyte solution. Awesome that we can have fun together. However, I think we can all acknowledge that on this campus, an ability to have fun doesn't really set us apart. I believe that all of our amazing qualities, tenacity and resilience, compassion and altruism, our pursuit of knowledge and lighthearted fun, all of these come together under the umbrella of an intangible quality that makes our cohort different. It's what brings us together and makes us a team. We look out for each other. When circumstances have disproportionately affected one or just a few of us in a negative way, we speak up. We welcome one another. If you're sitting down at a table in the con to study, or you're throwing a house party, everyone is invited to join. We care about each other. In our GroupMe, anyone can share a question or a worry and know that others will understand and respond. We are cohesive, but somehow also inclusive. And I know that the characteristics that each of you brought to make us a great cohort, you'll combine with the skills and knowledge you've learned and take that with you into your future workplaces to strengthen the teams that you work with. So as we transition to our future careers on whatever unit, at whichever hospital, whether you'll be in Iowa, Illinois, Tennessee, Wisconsin, Washington, the list goes on, the group of people that get to work with you, they are privileged to have you.
Thank you, Amy. Among the graduates we are recognizing today are a special group who have completed their initial preparation in nursing at a community college and then chose to come back and enroll at the University of Iowa to pursue a Bachelor of Science in Nursing degree. So could I ask our RN to BSN students to rise just so that we can see who you are? We don't always get a chance to. Great. Thank you for coming today. So speaking on behalf of the December 2019 RN to BSN graduates is Alaina Powell. Elena graduated high school in 2002. Oh boy, I should have practiced this word. I'm not from Iowa, so these Iowa town, or this is actually an Illinois one, huh? Hananiga, is that right? Hananiga High School in Rockton, Illinois. She obtained her associate degree in nursing from Des Moines Area Community College in 2017 and enrolled in the RN to BSN program at the University of Iowa in 2017. Elena embodies the spirit of helping others and has volunteered in numerous settings, including with Meals from the Heartland and ministry work for her church. This year, Elena was inducted into the Sigma Theta Tau International Honor Society of Nursing, and she's been on the president's list for both Des Moines Area Community College and the University of Iowa. Upon graduation, Elena is pursuing a career in home health care and has future plans to attend graduate school. Ladies and gentlemen, our RN to BSN class speaker, Alaina Powell.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Alaina Powell, and I was a student in the RN to BSN program here at the University of Iowa. I want to say what a privilege and honor it is to be able to speak before you and represent the talented individuals sitting here today. First, I want to thank all of you for your contribution to my baccalaureate education. Hearing your stories through our various assignments has made me feel connected to all of you and helped me grow in my understanding of the issues and solutions facing healthcare today. Second, I want all of you to join me in thanking our wonderful instructors and staff for supporting us and working hard for our success today with a round of applause. Some of you I've worked with on projects, and others may know my name from discussion posts. As Professor Dury and Professor Nelson, who graded my papers, and those of you who were so lucky to have me in your discussion groups can attest, I am not good at keeping things short and simple. Don't worry though, I only have 5 minutes up here. I think it's important for you to know a little bit about me. I grew up with a mother addicted to drugs and an abusive father. I was in foster care at 15 and later adopted. I moved around a lot and was not in the same school more than 3 years. Despite that, I've gone on to have a beautiful family of my own with 4 wonderful children. I am also the first in my immediate family to achieve a bachelor's degree. Now, I'm sharing my personal history for 2 reasons. First, I want you to know that we all face hard times and difficulties. However, if I can be before you today, delivering the commencement speech at the 4th-ranked nursing school in the nation, then you can do anything. Second, I want everyone to remember we all have a choice in life. I was surrounded by darkness, but made a choice to strive for the opposite. I understand what patients feel because I have experienced lows. I understand the importance of a nurse's healing heart and hands because I have needed them and experienced them. We all go into nursing due to different paths. Some come into nursing after a previous career, some go right away out of high school, and some have a family like myself and go back later. But I think I can speak for all of us here today when I say we do not do it for ourselves. We do it because we know how the darkness and chaos in the world surrounds our patients when they are in a vulnerable point in their lives, and we want to heal. We want to make the world a better place, one patient, one conversation, one touch at a time. We have all made a decision to look the darkness of disease, death, and aging in the face and to offer the healing hand of comfort, compassion, altruism, honesty, stewardship, and advocacy. We empower those to speak and act for themselves when they are weak. We listen even when they cannot talk. We fight for everything nursing stands for, the holistic healing of our patients. We understand quality improvement initiatives, transformational leadership, hospital design and structure, technology initiatives, public health perspectives of prevention focus instead of disease treatment, health disparities, social determinants of health, a culture of safety, and a just culture. We know how to be active members in an interprofessional team, how to communicate more effectively, how to empower ourselves and those around us, how to research and translate that research into practice as evidence-based care. I think I can speak for all of us in saying we have grown professionally in confidence, in independence, in leadership, and in followership. I want each of you graduating today to take a moment to reflect on the journey which led you to sitting in this very seat. And I want you to give yourself gratitude for your hard work. Each one of you should be so proud of the work you have accomplished, and those of you here supporting them today should be equally proud. I am super proud to belong to this class of nurses. With the nursing profession being represented by these individuals, I know we will improve not only the lives of our patients, but we will shape the future of healthcare itself. So let me finish in saying congratulations to the December 2019 BSN graduates. I am proud to be a nurse, I am proud to be a colleague of yours, and I am proud to be a Hawkeye. Thank you.
Thank you, Elena. So this year, we are continuing a tradition that began last year in recognizing 2 of our special alumni. At the December commencement, we recognized the outstanding young alumni, and then in May, the distinguished alumni. So the Outstanding Young Alumna Award recognizes an alum who has demonstrated outstanding leadership and achievement in nursing or related fields of healthcare, or has made significant contributions to their community, and they've graduated from the University of Iowa College of Nursing with a BSN in the past 5 years. I'm very pleased to announce that the 2019-2020 recipient of the University of Iowa College of Nursing Outstanding Young Alumna Award is Sally Walton. Sally received her BSN in 2017. She was a member of the Dean's List for the College of Nursing for numerous semesters. As a result of her academic achievement, she was inducted into the Sigma Theta Tau International Honor Society, Alpha Lambda Delta, and Phi Eta Sigma Honor Societies. As a student, Sally positively contributed to a wide range of healthcare services at UIHC. She spent significant time in the neuropsych unit, burn treatment center, intermediate care unit, emergency department, and the pediatric unit within Stead Family Children's Hospital. She's currently a staff nurse in the internal medicine unit at the University of Iowa Hospitals and Clinics. When the unit created its first collaborative council to engage and develop frontline registered nurses, Sally was selected by her peers to serve on that council. Staff members speak highly of her integrity, respect for others, and ability to collaborate with people who have different ideas and backgrounds. Sally's passionate about improving unit operations, supporting staff development, and so she volunteered to assist with improving the nursing assistant orientation process to better onboard new staff. Sally has demonstrated outstanding leadership and achievement in her career. Sally. So we have a gift. And a certificate, but I'll put this on your seat.
Hello everyone, my name is Sally Walton, and as Dean Zurich said, I am a December of 2017 University of Iowa graduate. I'm currently working at the University of Iowa Hospitals and Clinics as a staff nurse on the internal medicine floor. I was nominated for the Outstanding Young Alumni Award by my previous manager. While I initially did not know much about this award, I was just honored that my manager believed in me and nominated me. You can imagine my surprise when I was actually selected and was told I would be making a 10-minute speech at your graduation today. While 10 minutes initially seemed like an eternity for someone who has anxiety with social speaking, and for someone who hasn't done a speech since their freshman year in college, pushing 7 years ago now. But I was forgetting one important thing. I love talking about nursing. When you start your first clinical or your first nursing job, nursing is all you want to talk about. Your non-nursing friends and family may not get it. They may be weirded out by what you feel comfortable talking about while eating. They may just be surprised by some of the true stories you tell them. So for my speech today, I want to simply talk about things that I would have wanted to know being about to graduate, about to take the NCLEX, and about to start my first nursing career. So while starting your first nursing job is really exciting, it's also a bit stressful. In the short time you've been off from school, studying for and taking the NCLEX, going on that celebratory vacation, you might get a little rusty, just like during summer break. You may start to question yourself, worrying about what you may have forgotten, about not knowing everything. Or you may even think to yourself, wow, I'm still terrible at placing IVs. Just know that nobody is perfect starting their new job, and you are not expected to know or be good at everything. For almost 6 months straight, when I started my first job, I had questions almost every single shift. One of the most important things I can tell you is to never be afraid to ask for help. All of your coworkers were in your shoes at one point, and they do remember what it was like to be a new nurse. You will build very strong bonds by helping each other out. And there'll be experiences once you start your job that you never had to deal with in clinicals, things that you never thought were things you'd have to worry about. Your normally sweet patient with dementia may decide in the middle of the night it's time to leave the hospital. And she may show you that her biceps are literally twice the size of yours. Suddenly you're having to come up with these new methods of redirection and distraction. And after a while of getting used to things and talking with your coworkers and getting help, you'll have that one day when a nurse newer than yourself asks you a tricky question and you actually know the answer. What an incredible feeling. That same nurse may ask you for help with a difficult blood draw, and you actually get it, saving the day. Then one day you will be the one precepting a new hire or a new student. And let me tell you, that day will come sooner than you think. Another topic that every new nurse worries about is, what if I make a mistake, like a medication error? Well, I am here to tell you that it is not if you make a mistake, but when. Nursing is a human profession, part of the human field of healthcare, and humans make mistakes. While errors are obviously something every nurse should strive to avoid, it is also something that every nurse should be prepared to handle. And what matters most about making a mistake is that you handle it with strong integrity and strong transparency. Both of these elements are critical pieces to being a good nurse involved in a quality healthcare system. And never forget that any error, no matter how minor, is a powerful learning opportunity that should never be taken for granted. With that note in mind, being a nurse is an incredible cycle of continually learning new things and educating others. Those others may be your patients and their family members, or they may be your fellow coworkers or students. One of the most rewarding experiences I have had so far as a nurse is to be a senior internship preceptor. I cannot tell you how amazing it feels to be on the other side as the one actually educating and seeing the incredible growth that takes place as a student becomes a true nurse. To be a nurse is to be a lifelong learner and educator. Your education does not end with your BSN today. Whether or not you choose to pursue an advanced degree, you will always have the opportunity, and more importantly, the duty of advancing your education and enhancing your clinical skill set. We live in an age where medical advancement is huge, and we are lucky to be a part of that. As a nurse, there are so many ways in which you can participate in the betterment and the evolution of patient care. There are innumerable opportunities to be a part of research, whether you're good at finding problems with the system, or you're a good person to think of solutions for those problems, or simply if you're just part of the implementation of change. And if you choose to work at a larger hospital, there is a committee for just about any interest you may have, and you can become a champion of change for that interest. So beyond the wonderful opportunities for education, something I did not completely understand before becoming a full-fledged nurse is just exactly what it means to be a patient advocate and how much trust your patients will place in you. As you all know, nursing staff tend to be the ones who get to interact with patients the most. And from that, a certain level of trust is built that not all other healthcare providers get to experience. This trust often takes the form of a patient feeling comfortable telling you their fears and anxieties. You may discover that your patient, set to have a major procedure the following day, does not completely understand what that procedure is, but they were too afraid to tell the doctor and risk looking unintelligent. Your patient may choose to tell you rather than burden their family member with the fact that they're afraid to die. On the other hand, your 80-year-old patient spending his first night alone in the hospital may regale with you at 2 a.m. in the morning his time spent in the war and how he met his late wife. Another patient may simply trap you in their room showing you pictures of their precious pets while you're just trying to make it through your afternoon med pass. These are all examples of patients reaching out to you in some way because they trust you and they need something. Whether that something is help standing up for themselves, an empathetic ear to listen, or simply someone to help relieve some loneliness. Take a moment to think about the position these patients are in. They are away from home in an unfamiliar environment, no longer in complete control, anxious, and often in need of someone to talk to. They need someone who will listen to them with compassion and someone who will stand up for them when they do not know how. As a nurse, that is one of our most noble jobs. So while nursing is an emotionally, mentally, and physically difficult job, it is completely worth it. You cannot put a price on the feeling you get when a patient or their family member tells you what a positive difference you have made for them. Or simply when you survive and triumph on a difficult shift with grace. Nursing is such an important and rewarding career in a myriad of ways. No matter which nursing path you choose, you should all feel proud that you have chosen such a meaningful profession that you can truly make a difference with. I want to congratulate you all from the bottom of my heart for excelling and graduating from such a difficult and prestigious nursing program. I wish you all the best of luck as you start your new careers, even though you will not need it. And P.S., when it comes time to take the NCLEX and you worry that you failed, don't worry, it makes everyone feel that way. You actually passed. I want to thank you all for allowing me to speak and be a part of this very special occasion today. Thank you.
Thank you, Sally. So we are pleased to have with us for the conferring of degrees, President of the University of Iowa, Bruce Harreld. Bruce Harreld became the 21st President of the University of Iowa on November 2nd, 2015. He received a Bachelor of Engineering degree from Purdue University and a Master of Business Administration from Harvard. President Harreld served on the faculty of Harvard Business School from 2008 to 2014 with dual appointments to the entrepreneurial and strategy units. He was faculty chair of the Building New Businesses and Established Organizations program. He served in several corporate leadership positions with Kraft General Foods, Boston Market, and IBM, focusing on strategy and transformation. President Harreld is the author or co-author of numerous articles and book chapters and has also authored or co-authored several case studies for Harvard Business Publishing. Please join me in welcoming President Bruce Harreld.
Thank you and good morning. Greetings indeed to our graduates, to my faculty and staff colleagues, to family and friends, and to our honored guests. It's my great pleasure to be here today to share with all of us and all of you this joyous occasion. Today, we are celebrating the individual achievements of these remarkable students who are on the cusp of their professional careers. But any college commencement is also a recognition of team effort. Behind the success of these talented and accomplished graduates are family, friends, teachers, mentors, and many others who have supported and aided them in their success. So today, we also thank all of you, the team that got them here, the team that made this day possible. And so students, and graduates, my first charge to you is to stand up and please give a standing ovation to all of those that made this day happen. Thank you. And in that context, never forget this moment. We all need help in our lives. You're graduating from one of the noblest professions. But also think about it in your personal life. We all need help. And never forget to pay it back along the way. That's what Hawkeyes do. Nursing at Iowa has a distinguished tradition and reputation indeed. For more than 120 years, the College of Nursing has contributed greatly to the cutting-edge discovery, education, and service that marks the University of Iowa's distinction. It has been an especially exciting year indeed for our college as we've rededicated the nursing building after a historic renovation. As the college moves forward, we will provide even more innovative, creative, and collaborative ways for our nursing students, faculty, and staff to teach, learn, and research. The College of Nursing's reach is not just statewide, but nationwide. Several programs in the college are ranked among the best in the world, and our outreach programs reach every county in Iowa. Graduates, we are proud of your individual accomplishments that got you here today, and we're proud to send you off as part of a great Iowa nursing legacy. If you're staying in Iowa to practice or continue your education, you will be joining a very large and impressive professional community of Iowa alums. For those of you who are moving on elsewhere, we're grateful that you will be bringing Iowa excellence to your communities beyond our state borders. Today, my second charge for you is to represent yourself, this university, and your profession with honor and integrity. But most importantly, we charge you to make people's lives better through your compassion, your talent, and your newly minted nursing skills. Wherever you go from here, we do in fact hope, and my third charge is that you come back to see us and to celebrate with us and to give us your wisdom. And when you come back, the university will no doubt have changed in some ways, but in many ways it will always remain the same. It will always be a place where dedicated, talented people, just like you, do their best to push the boundaries of discovery, serve our society well, and teach the next generation of professionals, thinkers, creators, and leaders. You have been central to the excellence of this university while you've been here, and your future accomplishments will always be a proud part of our legacy. Once again, congratulations, good luck, best wishes for every success in the world. Please know we are very, very, very proud of you. Go Hawks. Thank you.
Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Nursing please rise? President Harreld, these candidates, having completed all the requirements for the degree Bachelor of Science in Nursing, are recommended to you by the faculty of the College of Nursing for the conferring of this degree.
On recommendation of the faculty of the College of Nursing and by the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents, State of Iowa, I confer on each of you the degree Bachelor of Science in Nursing as qualified and designated. Congratulations.
The turning of the tassel is the tradition of gesture by which each student signifies passage from degree candidate to graduate. Now, before we recognize each of you individually, please mark your new status as a graduate of the University of Iowa College of Nursing by moving the tassel of your cap from the right side to the left. Will the graduates please be seated?
Will the Bachelor of Science in Nursing graduates please come forward to receive formal recognition? First row, rise and come forward. Lynn Nguyen. Matthew Turner. Madeline Morrow, graduating with honors in nursing. Karina Ikuda. Margarita Garcia Buenroso. Eunice Deborah Kabukor Assam. Amy Schaffner. Shi-Ying Lo. Anne Claire Thatchell, graduating with high distinction. Shannon O'Kane. Katie Ryan. Jessica Piper. Allison Rose Lee. Amber Jackson. Amanda DeVilder. Chelsea Fishnick. Roxanne Leffler. Emily Rachel Campbell, graduating with distinction. Megan Kofoid. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Morgan Kofoid, sorry. Graduating with high distinction, honors in nursing. Cassandra Ray McGee, graduating with highest distinction, honors in nursing. Sarah Anna Cosella. Abigail Stark. Catherine Virginia Wells, graduating with distinction. Aaron Miller. Travis Heflin. Joseph Bonzani. John Joseph Crane. McKenna Cronbaugh. Michaela Robertson. Taylor Sunken. George Pena. Nick Kellen. Jack Ward. Matthew Edmund Bobber. Cale Mulhausen. Michael Benjamin Bieber. Eric Carroll, graduating with highest distinction. Mitchell James Signiak. Fuller Beal. Taylor Bonnet. Veronica Sostarik, graduating with highest distinction. Catherine Pieper. Megan Breeny, graduating with high distinction. Anna Utek, graduating with high distinction and honors in nursing. Haley Mizerk. Christina Remick. Bryson Allen Meyer. Ashley Ambrosen. Madeline Heyer, graduating with highest distinction, honors in nursing. Justine Atkinson. Abby Burgess. Amanda Nicole Nelson. Brooklyn Opoff. Genevieve Gaston, graduating with high distinction. Alex Duran Rubin. Alexi Duran Rubin, graduating with highest distinction and with university honors. Kennedy Wallace, graduating with highest distinction. Cole Wilson. Olivia Marie Lewis, graduating with university honors. Bailey Claire Bowers. Dominic Budak. Kylie Ann Hogue. Avery Carter. Virginia Schmidt, graduating with distinction. Jolene Patterson. Siri Thone Panyawe. Tiffany Marie Talley. Sarah Johnson. Shelby Rose Horrigan. Reagan Tulberg. Allison Marie O'Connor. Cassidy Piper, graduating with high distinction. Bethany Gertig. Mackenzie Lynn Betts. Madison Johansson. Malia Flint. Rachel Elizabeth Clay. Gabrielle Garcia, graduating with distinction, honors in nursing. Annie Brown, graduating with highest distinction. Michaela Robert, graduating with high distinction. Sophia Gritzonis. Selena Rose Sampson, graduating with highest distinction. Blythe Brianne West, graduating with highest distinction. Melissa Dawn Pitts. Elena Marie Powell. Delaney Madison May. Carolyn Fonts. Graduating with university honors. Emma Dunning. Graduating with highest distinction. Stephanie Schweer, graduating with distinction. Let us join in offering our heartiest congratulations to the new graduates.
This weekend, you will leave the College of Nursing and start new roles in the profession of nursing. Start out by aiming high. Along with the faculty, I have great hopes for you, our graduates. I hope you find true meaning, contentment, and passion in your life. I hope that you navigate the hard times and you come out with greater strength and resolve. I hope that whatever balance you seek, you find it with your eyes wide open. And I hope that you have the ambition to take charge of the healthcare world because it desperately needs you to manage it. I know it's a big challenge and a daunting task, but you can do it. And know that we will be watching and cheering you on. Congratulations and best wishes to all of our December 2019 College of Nursing graduates. Will the graduates please rise for the recessional? We ask the audience to please remain seated until the faculty and graduates have exited.